On this edition of Fulton Law and Justice, Fulton's police chief tells us about his department's renewed charge since the city of South Fulton transitioned. Also, how do you evacuate the busiest jail in the region in the middle of rush hour traffic? We'll take a look. And later, we'll hear how filing official real estate matters just got easier. I'm Douglas Bell, and Fulton Law and Justice starts right after the break. Stay with us. Welcome to Fulton Law and Justice, your inside look at the work of Fulton's justice partners. I'm Douglas Bell. We begin with good news for hundreds of thousands of people who do real estate business at the Fulton County Courthouse. Fulton Clerk of Superior Court is going high-tech, and this e-recording system is all about e-safety. Here's Fulton Law and Justice correspondent Nicholas Cotton in this edition of The People's Clerk.
Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us. As you may know, Fulton County is one of the most populous counties in the state. That means that Fulton is also one of the largest when talking about real estate or real property. Well, the Clerk of Superior and Magistrate Court's office adheres to a wide range of mandates, including properly processing, preparing, and preserving real estate documents. And with residents continuing to make Fulton County their home, the task of managing these records continues to grow. Isaac Standard is the Bureau Chief for the Records Management Bureau, and Siobhan Ferguson is the Chief Deputy and Real Estate Manager. Both are here to share new advancements in the Clerk's office in the Real Estate Division. Welcome to the People's Clerk Show.
Thank you, Nick.
So before we get started, could both of you please just tell our viewers a little bit about yourselves and your roles in the office?
Sure. As you said, my name is Isaac Standard. I'm Chief of the Records and Information Services Bureau. I've been in this role at the clerk's office for almost 3 years now, and I've been at the county for 10. Before the clerk's office, I worked with the Fulton County's IT department. So with that background, what I try to do is focus on how to leverage technology in the most optimal way to improve the way that we manage, maintain, and provide the public access to the clerk's records.
Okay.
All right.
Ms. Ferguson.
My name is Siobhan Ferguson, and I'm the Chief Deputy Clerk with the Real Estate Division. I started in March of this year, and prior to that, I practiced real estate law in Atlanta for 16 years.
Okay. Well, welcome to the office.
Thank you.
Okay, so now some of our viewers may not know this, but aside from the voluminous criminal and civil records that our office safeguards, we are also responsible for safeguarding every single real estate document, every single real estate transaction that takes place in Fulton County. Chief Standard, can you in some way kind of put that into context as to how large of a task that is?
Well, to an extent you already did. Voluminous is exactly the right word. Fulton County, obviously being the largest county in the state, we record a vast, ginormous amount of filings every year. To put it in a little context, we do more filings in a single day than many of the counties in Georgia do in a month, and some even in a year. So it's a lot of records. And providing access to so many records can be a bit of a challenge. Currently, the way we provide access is a citizen, the public can come down to the Lewis Slayton Courthouse in downtown, and they can access digitally through our public inquiry search software that where we have several kiosks located throughout the courthouse. And some records that have not been digitized, requests can be made, and the paper copies can be viewed as well.
Okay, so before we get to where we currently are in the clerk's office real estate division, let's kind of talk about the path that we've taken to get here. Recently, the office upgraded its land record system. Can you please tell us a little bit about that project and the importance it's had to the citizens?
And what a story it is, Nick. So the software that the real estate division uses to record and maintain and also provide access to the clerk's records, it was originally implemented in the county in the year 2000. So unfortunately, right after that implementation was complete, the company that provided that system, for reasons I won't discuss here, it dissolved. So it basically went out of business. So we were left in a situation for 15 years where, you know, the system worked fine, but we had no ability to really make any changes, and commonly law changes within the state that would require us to tweak the system for various reasons. So we were in a position where we could not do that for a number of years. During that time, we didn't just sit idle. The clerk's office looked at numerous commercial products that, you know, various vendors provide throughout the country. And the problem we ran into is that Fulton County is so large and we have such volume in this office that the way the original system, it was hyper customized to meet that high volume and the very unique business processes that we have to have because of that volume. And none of those other systems, those commercial systems, provided that same, you know, those same efficiencies, those same features that we needed. So again, for a number of years, we were just left with, you know, what we had. So recently, we found out that the key people that implemented the original product in Fulton County had went on to form another company. And so we found out that they were ready and able to come back in and work with us and improve on the product that we already have and that we loved. So after that, we began that process and got the funding and the Board of Commissioners to support the project. And at that point, we actually did an upgrade. So we kept all of that great functionality that we had worked so hard at the beginning to get there, but we were able to then now bring in those new features that legislation and the public and technology changes required.
Okay, okay. So what have been the benefits of this new land record system?
Well, this upgrade was 15 years in the making. So while we had basically a great but static system all that time, the clerk staff, the clerk, you know, our peers, we had a lot of time to think about, man, if we could make an improvement to this system, what would we do? So when we finally got the opportunity, we already had that list ready. And so we've been able to implement a lot of those changes. Namely, the most important one, I would say, is the ability to electronically accept recordings. Traditionally, the way a document has been recorded is it's either mailed in or it's walked in, a piece of paper. So the upgrade to the system is now opening up the door for us to electronically accept documents through the internet, similar to the ways that we already are doing that in the superior and magistrate courts areas.
Okay, and you kind of stole my thunder here, but
oh, sorry about that.
No problem. So will this new e-recording system kind of function the same as the e-recording, e-filing in the courts divisions?
It absolutely will. We plan on following a very similar model. In the beginning, the e-recording, as they call it, e-filing in courts, e-recording in real estate, it's just industry jargon. Initially, we will only accept e-recordings from what we call a bulk filer. So these are the law firms out there that file, you know, with us, you know, high volumes of documents all the time, not really targeted, at least initially, at the individual who comes in with their single deed, right? So as time progresses, as we continue to enhance and build upon this project, we intend to open up that functionality to you know, the average citizen, and we'll do that in this, you know, following the same model that we're doing in courts.
So will this be a mandatory? This form of filing, is it mandatory? Not
initially.
Okay.
However, we do see the possibility of it becoming mandatory in the future. But obviously, with it becoming mandatory, we have to provide, you know, we have to have special concern with the citizen because we're now serving an individual versus a large law firm.
Okay. And Siobhan, will there be any fees associated with this new filing process?
There will. I mean, we'll have the standard recording fees, transfer tax fees, and intangible tax fees, but as it relates to e-recording, there'll be a $2 fee, similar to the one that we collect with criminal and civil filings.
Okay. And how will our constituents benefit from this?
I think the benefit of e-filing is not being restricted by the hours that the courthouse are open to the public. You can file basically from the comfort of your office just by scanning your documents in. You also don't have to worry about having the exact amount for the filings because our fees do vary. When you file through the e-file system, your account is debited, so that'll be simpler as well.
And now, Siobhan, you mentioned that you have a legal real estate background, right?
Yes, that's right.
Two questions for you. One, how do you feel that that background has helped you transition into the clerk's office? And two, has it afforded you any kind of leverage in assisting with this new filing process?
Yes, I think it's helped me transition into the office because I'm already familiar with the documents, I'm familiar with the process. I know generally already everything that we do and all the steps that we take. And as far as transferring into the e-filing system, I think it's given me a perspective on what the customer needs, what they expect, the timeliness of the documents, accuracy.
Okay, so you're kind of on the other side of the curtain
I
now,
think so,
right?
yeah, it kind of is like being backstage.
Okay, all right. Any final thoughts you all would like to share before we close? Let's let the lady go first.
Ladies
Any
first.
final
Thank you,
thoughts?
gentlemen. I'm really excited to be here with the county. I'm excited to bring my experience as a customer to the new e-file process and the way that we process the documents in Fulton County.
Chief Standard.
Well, she talked about her legal background. I'm just excited to be able to continue to use my information technology background to just further enhance how efficient we are as a workforce, within the county, and how we use technology to make the public's experience better as well.
Well, you two are doing a great job, and I'm sure that with your experience and your background, you all will continue to do great things for the office. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Isaac Standard and Siobhan Ferguson, for sharing such beneficial information. As Fulton County continues to grow at a rapid rate, so too does the demands of the public servants. In addition to maintaining nearly 400,000 real estate documents each year alone, the clerk's office also preserves property records predating back to the early 18th century. So, as you can see, carrying out this duty is no small deed. However, regardless of the tasks or the demands of the clerk's office still remains committed to utilizing technology and its experienced staff to continue delivering effective and efficient service to each of its customers. If you're interested in obtaining copies of your real estate documents or learning more about the clerk's office and its many services, we're located at 136 Pryor Street, Atlanta, Georgia, 30303. Or we have 2 Fulton County service centers to serve you. You can also call us at 404-613-5313 or check us out online, fultonclerk.org. We take pride in assisting every Fulton County resident in every way that we can because we believe in doing the right thing the right way each time for every customer. I am Nicholas Cotton. Thanks for joining us on this edition of The People's Clerk.
Thanks, Nicholas. When we come back, here's what's different about Fulton's police department since the city of South Fulton transition. The police chief is next. By now, you've probably heard the Fulton County Police Department has undergone some major changes. Those changes came as a result of the new city of South Fulton. The law enforcement agency is now a third of its previous size, but its chief says they are smaller, but just as mighty.
We still have a traditional role of the police department. First and foremost, responding to 911 calls for service is the primary function of any police department. And we're serving the Fulton industrial area where you have residential capacity of about 600 persons. In addition to that, on a daily basis, there are over approximately 30,000 visitors to that area. So yes, we have the 911 calls for service. We also provide criminal investigations as well as traffic enforcement and the traditional roles that we had prior to the transition.
Chief Halbert was officially sworn in to lead the department in early June. 2 of his former bosses attended the promotional ceremony.
I had the opportunity to interface with Chief Halbert from the day he became a Fulton County police officer and had the opportunity to supervise him. He's one of the last officers here that I personally supervised as a sergeant and back in the housing patrol days. And I knew from the beginning this guy from Chicago who looked like Eddie Murphy would be great.
Nothing makes me more proud other than my own children than to see Darryl become chief of police, because it is well deserved. It was well earned, and I know he's going to be just a phenomenal chief.
Leadership from the South Fulton Police Department also attended the ceremony and pledged to partner on all law enforcement matters to best protect the citizens of the county. 2/3 of Fulton's police force transitioned to the city of South Fulton in March of 2018. Still ahead on Fulton Law and Justice, evacuating inmates from the Fulton County Jail in record time. We'll explain. Stay with us. Well over a dozen deadly mass shootings have occurred in the U.S. this year alone, and Fulton County government is taking steps to ensure the best outcome possible should one happen in one of its facilities. FGTV's Brian Robinson joins us now from the Fulton County Courthouse with more on this story.
The Fulton County Justice Complex is one of the busiest buildings in the county. Once the site of a deadly shooting, the goal is to train employees should tragedy ever strike again.
It's happened before. It'll happen again.
It was this day back in 2005 that Fulton County employees and residents will never forget. The day then rape defendant Brian Nichols terrorized the courthouse in a deadly rampage. When the ordeal was over, a Fulton County judge, sheriff's deputy, court reporter, and a federal agent were killed. It's because of that day and all of the other more recent mass shootings around the country that employees are now better prepared thanks to the Sheriff's Office's active shooter training seminar.
We want people to be prepared and have a plan and just have a general idea of how to react in the instance that something should take place.
The active shooter training seminar helps civilian employees focus on effective response measures should they ever find themselves in an active shooter situation. The theme for this training session was run, hide, fight. Now the first thing you should try to do is find yourself an escape route like we have here in our office that leads to a stairwell. Now if that option is not available, find yourself a safe room where you can turn off the lights and shut the door. If that option is not available,
Fight is going to be a last resort, but if you don't have anything else to do or to offer and it's you or them, then you need to fight.
with recent mass shootings taking place in schools, churches, and other crowded areas, these employees are thankful for the lesson that might one day save their lives.
I think it's extremely progressive. I'm going to try to now make arrangements for our work group in accountability court to sit through a session like this and make sure all the group is understanding and aware.
I think it's much needed, and a lot of people need to see it, need to be involved in it so that we all know, and it's not just a few people.
Reporting for Fulton Law and Justice, I'm Brian Robinson.
Thanks, Brian. Meanwhile, evacuating any Fulton County building in the middle of an emergency requires a lot of coordination and pre-planning. But imagine having to evacuate the jail or the courthouse in the middle of evening traffic. FGTV rides along for a mass evacuation drill. Here's Shania Chavis-Rucker.
Normally, this much commotion at the Fulton County Jail would be a cause for concern.
Be advised, all inmates are present on count for on zone 800. We need to go to a stage 2.
However, this is a code red mass evacuation drill conducted by the Fulton County Sheriff's Office.
We conduct drills frequently for preparedness for a code red mass evac at the Fulton County Jail so that our staff are ready and know what to do in the event that we have a fire or a natural disaster in the jail and we have to move out inmates.
Typically, these mass evacuation drills occur during regular business hours. This drill is different because it was conducted during a time when most people are getting off work and heading home. Though no major highways were needed to ensure a smooth process, the Sheriff's Office recruited the Atlanta Fire Rescue Department, Atlanta's Department of Corrections, and MARTA for assistance. With inmates securely in the prisoner transport van and jail staffers in a MARTA bus, the entourage made it safely to the Atlanta City Detention Center and then back to the jail in no time at all.
We kicked off at about 5:40 for the drill, and everything went smoothly. We had the inmates out and back
in our Sallyport area at about 6:50 they returned. We're very pleased. We're going to review the video for that, review the officers' comments who did the evaluations, and see what our successes were and where we might need to improve.
Bottom line, officials with the sheriff's office say that these evacuation drills are critical to the safety of the jail in the event of an actual emergency. Reporting for Fulton Law and Justice, I'm Shania Chavis-Rucker.
Amazing coordination. Thanks, Shania. We'll be right back. Fulton County has committed itself to serving its residents in 6 priority areas. The strategic goal for Fulton's Justice Partners is making sure that all people are safe. On Fulton Law and Justice, we show you how Fulton's law enforcement and justice partners are doing that every day in how they serve and in the programs they provide to enhance the lives of all people, young and old. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Fulton Law and Justice. I'm Douglas Bell. We'll see you next time.